Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Chef Ange. On today's episode, I want to show you an amazing summer salad. This is my grilled corn salad. Grilled corn salad is going to be the star of your next barbecue. It's creamy, it's smoky, it's got the corn and all your summer ingredients in there, and it's got some bacon in there for all you bacon lovers. For the full ingredient list and directions, check the description box below, but let's get into the recipe and let's get cooking.
So if we're making corn salad, we got to talk corn, and the best stuff's going to be the fresh stuff. So get yourself some corn. It's right in the middle of corn season, so all the corn's pretty good. And this is just some sweet corn that I'm going to peel the husks off of, and I'm also going to make sure that we're going to peel off all those little stringy parts of the corn too. Nothing's worse than getting those stringy things stuck in your teeth, and just take the extra time to peel them off. You can make this recipe with canned corn, but it's always going to be better with the fresh stuff. So once your corn cobs are nice and cleaned, we're going to have to season them, and we'll season them with a little bit of olive oil, a pinch of salt, some fresh ground black pepper, and you can use the pre-ground stuff, but again, fresh is a little bit better, and some paprika. I usually use smoked paprika, but I couldn't find it, so I just threw on the regular stuff. And then we're just going to throw some more olive oil on there to help loosen up those spices, and then we're going to give this a mix by hand. And really get in there and make sure that you're really covering the corn with the spices. It's going to help add another layer of flavor to the corn as we grill it up. So once these are all well coated with the spices, we're going to head over to our stove. We're going to heat a cast iron skillet over a high heat, and we're going to try to just get a char on this corn. Corn doesn't need much heat to cook, but it does need a lot of heat to get charred up. So we're going to keep this on a high heat, and we're going to try to get nice color on all sides of this corn. So at first, I'm not going to touch these very much, but then as I see them that they're starting to brown up a little bit, we're just going to keep turning these cobs little by little till we get nice color on all sides. The grilled corn flavor is such a wonderful flavor, plus the spices that are on there, and this is an essential step. When using the canned stuff, you could do the same thing with some canned corn, but you're never going to get this kind of color outside of using a cast iron on a full ear of corn. So once you've gotten nice color on all sides of the corn, we're going to pull it off and let it cool down before we take the kernels off the husk. While this cast iron skillet is still hot, we're going to take a wet paper towel soaked with water and just give this a little rub, clean that cast iron. This is by far the easiest way to clean it. I'll come back later and season it with some avocado oil, but I'll just take a paper towel and clean it all up, and this thing's pretty shiny. I love using cast iron. So while that corn's cooling down, I'm going to cut some bacon into little cubes, and this bacon is semi-frozen. I always like to cut my bacon, especially when I'm cutting it small pieces, to keep it a little bit frozen. It's just so much easier to handle. So once we get this bacon all cut up, we're going to put this aside, and we're going to give it a little brown inside of a pan. We're going to heat the pan up over medium heat, and the pan doesn't even have to be hot when the bacon hits there. Bacon can cook in a cold pan, and as it gets hotter, the fat will start to render out of the bacon, and you can cook the bacon in its own fat. I like to, when I cook bacon like this, to keep it moving around the entire time. It's not like you have strips that you can flip over, so you have to just keep tossing the bacon, and as the fat renders out of the bacon, it'll continue to crisp. I use this technique in a lot of my recipes that calls for small pieces of bacon. I prefer doing it this way than making strips of bacon and then cutting them down. And you can clearly see that all that fat has rendered really nicely out of the bacon. It's starting to get really nice and crispy, so we're going to take a slotted spoon, and we're going to spoon this bacon out, reserving the bacon grease inside the pan, and we're going to shut the heat off the pan just in case we drip anything. Safety first. This bacon grease is going to make a wonderful addition to the creamy dressing, but we're going to want this bacon to cool down. So now we're going to take this bacon grease, we're just going to run it through a strainer to get any little pieces that are in there, and we're going to pull that out, and now we're going to set this gold liquid aside, and now we're going to start making our dressing. So we're going to go a little bit on the light end, and we're going to use some light sour cream for the base of our creamy dressing. We're going to throw some mayonnaise in there. I just like to use avocado oil mayonnaise. It's just my preferred mayonnaise, but you can use any mayonnaise that you like. Let me know in the comments section what your favorite mayonnaise is. And now we're going to take a couple spoonfuls of that bacon grease and throw that right in there as a fat component. Also, we're going to get really big flavor out of there. We're going to get that nice, smoky, savory flavor out of that bacon. Now we're going to take a couple of limes and we're going to juice them in there for acidity. These are just the basic components of a vinaigrette. Now we're going to throw a little olive oil in there. And now we're going to season this dressing with some ancho chili powder. If you just have regular chili powder, that'll work, but the anchos definitely premier. And some smoked paprika. Finally found it. Couldn't find it before, but now I got it. Now a little bit of my base seasoning, which is a blend of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. I'll throw a link to the video recipe in the description. So now we'll pull out our whisk, and the whisk is going to be the preferred tool to mix a bunch of stuff together. And you can see that as I'm whisking, it gets really nice and creamy and nice and uniform. We're going to taste it along the way and adjust. This could use just a little bit more creaminess, so I added some sour cream and a little bit of that mayo, and then whisk that right back in, and this should be good to go. For all of the ingredients, check the description box below. And when I'm writing those, they are an estimate. So now we're going to take a small bowl and we're going to put it in a much larger mixing bowl, and we're going to cut the kernels off of the corn cobs. This is a pretty standard setup for cutting corn off of a cob without making a giant mess or the corn cobs slipping all over the place. The little bowl inside acts as a nice little stand so the corn cob doesn't slip, and the other bowl catches all the corn kernels as we're cutting them off. And for a knife, I like to use a much smaller knife, like a paring knife or a utility knife, rather than the big chef knife. I really feel like I can get better cuts and be a little bit more precise than the larger knife who actually can cut into the cob. So once I've gotten all of the corn off of the cobs, we're going to gently pull that bowl out and try not to spill a lot of the corn. You can also use, I think, a cake bunt pan, but I don't even have one of those pans, so this is the setup that I'm going to use. And we'll just clean that all up. And now let's start cutting up our vegetables. Now, as we cut up our vegetables, we're going to throw them right inside that bowl. So here I'm dicing up a red pepper, and I'm cutting everything really small because you want this salad to eat very finely. We're also going to throw a jalapeno in there. The flavor profile for this salad is very much like a Mexican street corn. It's inspired by, so a lot of the ingredients that you'll see here are the same stuff that we use in a lot of Mexican and taco recipes. So now we'll cut some scallion greens and slice those pretty thin. And we'll do the same with a red onion, and we'll get a really nice small dice on those red onions. Now we'll have some cherry tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomato. I just wanted to use some cherry tomatoes because I really like the sweetness that a cherry tomato brings to the tomato family. So we're just going to cut these in half. And now we're going to chop up some cilantro, and we'll use our rocker chopper motion to get this cilantro as fine as possible. You can use parsley as well, but I think cilantro lends that nice Mexican flavor to this salad. Now we'll throw in most of our crumbled bacon. We're going to reserve a little bit for some garnish at the end to throw on top. And we're going to do the same thing with some cotija cheese. So a little bit's going to go inside, and then we're going to put a little bit on top. And cotija cheese just crumbles so nicely, so you don't even have to cut it. Just take the whole thing and just start crumbling inside your hands, and it'll crumble to the perfect consistency. Now let's take that creamy dressing that we made before. We'll throw that in there, and now we're going to give this a really good mix without trying to make a big mess. And we're going to keep mixing this until the vegetables are well mixed and they're well coated with this creamy bacon vinaigrette. Once that's all mixed, we're going to add this to our serving bowl, and then we're going to garnish with some of those leftover ingredients that we had. And now look how amazing and creamy this looks. Remember, when you're serving stuff, to work nice and neat, spread that out, and now the rest of the crumbled bacon. Garnish kind of shows people a little bit about like what's inside the salad. So now a little bit of the chopped cilantro on top for a little pop of color. A little bit of cheese on top of there. And we're just going to crumble that a little bit more. And if there's some chunks in there, that's all good. And then we're going to sprinkle some of those scallion greens for an additional pop of color and a little bit more freshness. Now, tell me in the comments section how amazing this salad looks. It's half street corn, it's half salad, it's got that bacon vinaigrette. This is an unbelievable showstopper for your next barbecue. Make this all summer long, and people will be asking for it every single time you have a barbecue.
All right, it's time for the taste test, and I am super excited to try this. This smells absolutely wonderful. I mean, I would serve this cold. You could just make it fresh and throw it on the table. It just smells absolutely wonderful, and it just looks and smells like a wonderful summer salad. Nice big scoop. Now look how awesome this salad looks. Nice creamy dressing, the bacon, the grilled corn. I'm gonna go 2 scoops on this. Okay. Maybe even a third. Okay. So I'm gonna try to get everything on this one bite. A little bit of the tomato, some of the bacon. There's gonna be corn in every bite. There's a lot of corn in here. But here we go. Smoky, creamy, crunchy, corn. This is so good. It's like half salad, half street corn. I cannot stop eating this. The flavors are so good. That lime juice coming in at the end. This is unbelievable. You have this at your next barbecue? It's going to be a total hit. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Chef Ange. This is my grilled corn salad. If you did like this video, check out some of my other videos here. Go to my channel, check out some videos. Let me know what you think. Make some stuff, leave some comments, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks.